Well, the crew received their biggest tip of the entire charter season. The wrath of Captain Sandy is still in full force, and grab a tissue or a euro. It looks like Hannah and Conrad are over. It's Below Deck Med, guys. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
I mean, wow.
Mo euros, no problems.
I suppose. At least in this regard, there's a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Those euros, baby. Those euros. They do it. They get you every time.
With those euros.
Oh my gosh. Oh, guys. I'm so excited to chat about this episode. What is up? I'm Laura L. Thomas, and we are going to chat about Below Deck Med. Before we jump into it, I want to introduce my lovely co-host.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kayley Stumpe.
Hi, Kayley Stumpe.
Hi.
And we're missing Miss Heather Geisler tonight, but
Yes.
she will be back with us next week. Episode 11? Is that where we are?
Yes.
Episode 11. Episode 11, guys. All right. So we're nearing the end of this, and I think we're kind of getting into the meat and potato. Well, I keep saying that every week, I think.
Oh my God, but we just keep getting deeper and deeper.
Well, things are getting real crazy.
They're so real right now. Like nothing is being held back.
Okay, how was your blood pressure during this episode?
I got so riled up.
I think we both did. Tell me about your thoughts. What do you think?
It was so intense. It was so real. No one was pulling any punches. Everyone was so raw with their emotions tonight.
Truly,
And
everyone. I mean,
yeah.
everyone that we saw was kind of going through something or having a moment for sure.
everyone. I know. What did you think of tonight's episode?
Oh, wow. Well, so obviously I missed getting to break down the episode with you guys last week. I was so sad, but I
know, we
watched
missed
for a
you.
moment. And I really, in regards to tonight's episode, I think that this is probably one of the more, like you said, vulnerable episodes I think I've ever seen on Below Deck Med. Because in the years past, and sometimes as we see with reality TV and Bravo and things like that, some things feel a little done for the cameras.
Right.
You know, sometimes things can feel a little heightened, if you will.
Overproduced, maybe.
Yeah, or like, are we really going to talk about, you know, the same fight for, it's not about the pasta or
Right.
whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, like, are we going to talk about this over and over again? And
beat
beat a
little
dead
too
horse.
much, yeah.
But this, to me, we were getting to the root of a lot of really personal issues with some of our beloved castmates.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious to just jump right in. I'm dying to jump right in because I just want to break it all down. And unpack it all for all you guys. Are you in the live chat?
I
In the live
am.
chat? Okay, so guys,
Yes.
if you are also in the live chat with us, please let us know your comments, your thoughts. If you have questions, don't hesitate to jump in there. And then also we have a couple of news segments at the end, so you
Yeah.
don't want to miss that. A couple of little fun things that happened this week, and even a little reach out to one of the cast members. So you'll make sure you want to stay tuned for that. All right, let's just dive in to the first topic. So we see Kenny and Amber, who are some of our beloved guests from years past, finally exit the boat. They had a great charter season, or a great charter with this crew.
Yeah.
It seems like they were super happy. They got
Super
everything
happy.
they want. Adam redeemed himself, which I thought was pretty
Did
fun.
he ever? He was so proud of himself tonight.
As he should be.
Yeah.
His food looked bomb. Like, I want to eat all of
beyond.
that
I
food.
know. I'm hungry now.
Yeah, starving. Adam, I'm still waiting for you to come cook dinner for us.
Seriously.
But yeah, his food looked amazing, and then he came up with this really clever game about, kind of the tongue-in-cheek issue with the onions.
Yeah.
I thought that was super clever of him.
Yeah, he really cared about impressing Kenny and that whole crew.
Well, and like you said, there's really only you only get one chance to make a first impression. And I think that he really made it a point to redeem himself from last year's charter. I think he knew he kind of had egg all over his face last year from the charter last year that Kenny was on. And so I think he really wanted to go above and beyond to impress them. And he seemed to do it. They seemed happy. The crew seemed happy. They had a really great dinner when both Hannah and Jamie were down. The crew really stepped up, and it reflected because they got that massive $25,000 tip.
Massive tip with 2 crew members down almost the entire time.
That's I will say, Conrad said in the very beginning, he said the person that's going to surprise you the most is Casey, and she's kind of stepping up to the plate.
She totally stepped up, and
really
Brooke
did.
completely killed it. It's like, is it kind of ironic that they do the best job ever and get the biggest tip without Hannah?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't reflect well on her.
Well, I think sometimes, I know for me, and this may be the same thing with Hannah and Brooke. I mean, with Casey and Brooke as well. I know if I'm given an opportunity, like if you draw out the framework that I'm supposed to stay in, or you give me the rules of the game and teach me how to play, I'm going to learn where I can bend the rules, where I can break the rules, but ultimately how I can stay within that framework, because I want to know how I can succeed and do a really good job. If you don't lay it out for me and kind of give me the opportunity to succeed, it feels a little like floundering and like I don't know where to go. And so I feel like these women were kind of given the opportunity to work within the framework that they were given without being intimidated or micromanaged.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know, just even if Hannah does not intend to be intimidating, her presence is so big and very direct and very kind of like that aggressive forward energy. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean it in like an observation that she's just very much like a big forward personality.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would imagine that can be very stifling to be around. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And clearly Brooke is the complete opposite. Like, she knows what she's doing. She gives the orders that need to be done. She doesn't hover. She doesn't micromanage, like you said. And she lets Casey kind of blossom into a really good employee and do a really good job.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy, the difference in their leadership skills. And clearly Brooke is amazing.
Yeah. Brooke really did. I mean, they both really did it. I think the want to impress them as well was kind of was there, you know, and so I think the desire made a lot of difference as well. But hey, hands down, you guys nailed it. I was very impressed.
Yeah, yeah.
And clearly so were Kenny and Amber.
They were so impressed.
Ooh, that fat envelope, girl. That fat envelope at the end. I'll take one of those. I mean, but they earned it, you know. They earned it.
Yeah,
they
for
earned
sure.
It. I was just super impressed with them. I was really impressed with I think everybody was impressed. Everybody's impressed all the way around.
Oh my, Captain Sandy was just dying in that meeting, in the tip meeting.
Loved it. And good for her for calling them out. You know what I mean? Like, good for her for awarding rewarding them for their hard work and for kind of patting them on the back.
Yeah.
In front of everybody. I think that was really nice.
Yeah, she didn't hold anything back, saying complimenting them in front of Hannah.
Yeah.
Which is well deserved. I mean, Hannah completely screwed up.
She did, but we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to more to that later. Before we jump in and start talking about Captain Sandy and Hannah and all of that, something that I think a message for you guys that we would love to share, Miss Kayley's got for us.
Yes. Hey, AfterBuzzers. Our network produces after shows for nearly all your favorite TV shows, from dramas, reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There is no network that works harder to serve television fans, but we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. By subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel and check out our other AfterBuzz YouTube channels as well. Let us know you did so in the comments, and we'll thank you on air.
Yeah.
For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
That's right, guys. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you a million times.
Yes.
Okay, we touched on it a little bit. Let's jump right in. Captain Sandy is clearly, at the end of last episode, losing her mind over Hannah and Conrad taking their time with the guests off on this little excursion. I'm not gonna rehash the whole thing. We all saw it.
Right.
I want to just jump into our opinions and our thoughts, because Captain Sandy definitely treated her. She had different opinions about Conrad and about Hannah, and she put a lot of the responsibility on Hannah. I think she was a little more forgiving with Conrad, likely because he he seemed to be telling the truth and said, she never told me that I needed to bring her back after one Coke. How do we feel about the way that she treated Conrad versus Hannah? And do we think she was overly lenient on Conrad and overly strict on Hannah? Or do you think both of them deserved the wrath of Sandy at which they were presented?
Honestly, I think the wrath of Sandy spilled over onto Conrad, which was all meant for Hannah.
Yeah.
And I think she was right in feeling that way toward Hannah, because Hannah just screwed up after being off for 24 hours and then going on the tender ride with the guests for another 5 hours and leaving Brooke and Casey to do everything else on the boat. But yeah, I've never seen her like this before. But clearly, Hannah has been poking at her all season, and she just exploded.
Yep. She was that, like, pressure cooker. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just kind of, like, going down all season long, and it finally erupted.
It erupted. And then it erupted a little bit more onto Conrad. And then clearly she felt bad because she pulled him in to apologize.
Right.
But thankfully, Conrad was able to defend himself, and he was just doing his job. He was driving the boat for the guests, and they wanted to stay out for 5 hours, so he was, abiding by that and doing what they wanted.
Yep.
And clearly Hannah never told him that she needed to go back, and that's not his fault.
Now, I agree with you, first of all. I do think that Conrad did a really good job of maintaining his professionalism and also kind of sticking up for himself.
Yeah,
I've never really seen Conrad get. I won't say that he was combative, but he was defensive.
Oh yeah,
he was very much like, look, Captain Sandy, I understand. Like, even when she said, I want to fire both of you right now, he was like, can you please tell me why?
Yeah.
He truly had no idea that he had done something wrong, and I don't believe that he did. I think there was no communication. I think the responsibility is on Hannah in this regard, because if she was meant to tell him, hey, I got to be back after one Coke, that's on her. If she doesn't, I mean, if you don't tell the information, how am I supposed to know? I can't read your mind.
Right.
So he was just going about doing his job, assuming that that they had the blessing of Captain Sandy to do all this. Now, so I do agree with you in that regard. I do think that she was warranted in pulling him back and being like, come back, I'm okay, we're good, you have a bright future ahead of you. They hug it out, like really end on a very, like, I don't know, a good note, if you will.
Yeah.
I want to say compatible, but that's not a word. I always have these words in my head about, like, just words that I want to say, and then it's never quite the right one, and then I'm driving home on the 405 and I was like, oh, that's what I meant.
I feel like you always have the right words.
Well, we're working on it. But okay, let's get into Hannah and Sandy, because I do think that I was shocked at how, I'm a big Hannah fan. I always have been. But I was, and she did warn us in our interview earlier this season when we chatted with her. She gave us a little bit of insight and said that she was not shown in her best light on this season. I would agree with her.
She was nervous about this season for sure when we spoke to her.
I would agree with her. I think that this is clearly not the past. I wouldn't even say the last episode. Like, anxiety is anxiety, and that's something that we all, or a lot of people struggle with. And so that, to me, like, that's a category all itself.
Yeah.
This episode was kind of next level for me. And it started with the way that she was chatting with Captain Sandy. She was so
dismissive.
She was very dismissive. She almost came across as entitled.
Yes, entitled.
You know what I mean? She came across as entitled in the way that she spoke to Captain Sandy. And I understand that you work in a very close environment with each other, that you guys have a very strong working relationship, that you guys are perhaps comfortable with each other because you've done this for years before. However, I'm a Southern girl. I grew up in the South. I'm, born and bred Nashville, and I have always been taught similarly to Conrad, that regardless, you always respect your elders or you respect the person that's above you.
Right.
I think that's why he struggles so much with Joao having no respect for him.
Right.
And I think that's why I had such a strong visceral reaction to how Hannah was talking to Captain Sandy, because at the end of the day, you messed up. I would have so much more respect for you if you came to me if I were your captain, if you came to me and I'm calling you out and I'm disciplining you on this, for you to say, you know what, you're right, I messed up, my apologies. Yeah. There was a miscommunication. Or perhaps I misunderstood. I 100%. Thought that I was in the right.
And she wasn't apologetic at all.
At all.
Yeah.
Like shockingly so.
Yeah. And Captain Sandy said, okay, you clearly don't think you're in the wrong at all. And she's like, no, I don't think I'm in the wrong. So that's when Captain Sandy's like, okay, I'm done. We can never work together again. I don't want to see the rest of the charter, because she knew that Hannah was never going to apologize or see that Captain Sandy's right. Her own boss.
I mean, I just don't understand that. I'm assuming that it was an emotional response, and she had just come off the anxiety, but she was given 24 hours to really take it in, get her rest, take care of herself, and I get 24 hours in the long scheme of things is not a huge amount of time.
In the scheme of them on the boat, that's a long time.
It is.
And Sandy was very respectful toward Hannah for that. And he was like, you rest. I can see that you're not well.
Yeah.
And then Hannah comes back around and just completely disrespects Captain Sandy.
Yeah, I think the fact that Sandy respected Hannah enough to give her the time that she needed, and then Hannah did not turn around and respect Captain Sandy nor the rest of the crew enough to not take a 5-hour tender ride with the guests.
Yeah.
Just reflected poorly on Hannah.
Right. And the fact that she doesn't, excuse me, oh my gosh, that she doesn't respect her crew, I feel like that really irks Captain Sandy as well.
Right.
Like, it's one thing to disrespect her, and then it's a whole bigger thing to disrespect the whole rest of the crew that she's, in charge of, and all of her friends, and because it's teamwork, and clearly Hannah is not doing well with the teamwork aspect.
Yeah, she's really having a hard time right now, and I hope that in the next few episodes that we see herself kind of pull herself out of this little funk, because I like Hannah a lot. I really like Hannah.
I know.
And
me too.
I want her to be, but it's always messy in the middle. The hardest part's always the middle. It's easy to start. It's easy to finish. It gets messy in the middle. And so I'm just hoping that this is our messy moment with Hannah, and she's able to kind of move forward. But it doesn't seem like it in the moment. Right now, she and Captain Sandy have kind of drawn a line in the sand. She's like, you go this way, you go this way. I don't want to see each other.
Yeah.
We don't have to work again after this. Which, wait, would that mean that that one of them wouldn't be on the show next year?
I know. Well, they're going to have to do, because they switch up between Captain Sandy and Captain
Lee.
Yes. I can picture his face. Captain Lee. So they're going to have to have Hannah on the Captain Lee seasons. But then, knowing producers, they'll throw Hannah and Captain Sandy back together.
Of course, because they're great TV.
Yeah.
They're great TV.
Yeah.
Oh, that literally just hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, wait, I can't have them both not on the show next year. I'll lose my mind. Oh my gosh, what do we do?
I know.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll have to stay tuned and see how that ends up. Before we jump into our final topic, which is the cruise night out and a little bit more Hannah Conrad drama, I just want to remind you guys that if you are watching us on YouTube right now, I hope you're joining us in the live chat. Do we have anybody chat with us?
Currently.
No? Okay. Well, if you want to comment or let us know your thoughts about the show, please do. We always have the live chats. We always have the live chat up, so we want to hear your thoughts. We like to keep the conversation going as well in the comments, so please, if you're watching on YouTube and you want to leave a comment, we usually get back to them pretty quickly, and we love to hear your thoughts. And if you missed the live feed on YouTube and you're catching up with us on the podcast version, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all of the fun places, wherever you find your podcast. Please make sure you give us a rating. Search for Below Deck Mediterranean because there is a Below Deck and a Below Deck Med. So make sure you look for Below Deck Med. Give us a 5-star rating, a little comment. Maybe let us know your feedback there as well. We love to hear from you guys. So thank you.
Yes.
All right. Finally, I want to talk about the crew getting their much needed night out after Kenny and Amber have been on this boat for a year and a half. So they're all getting dressed up, getting gussied out, and getting us gussied up to go out. And in the car, Hannah makes but as they're getting ready, Conrad makes an aside to Hannah. Hey, by the way, you owe me 50 euros for the cigarettes that I bought you. Mm-hmm. And she kind of rolls her eyes and gets a little mum. And
you can clearly see she's not okay with that.
Irritated
AF.
to the max. And grabs her wallet, gives him his 50 euros. She kind of brushes it off, but you can tell that is a tiny chip that is going to grow into a boulder.
Really did not sit well with her.
Not at all. It continues once they hop in the taxi. She happens to bring up that she drove a BMW M3.
That it was gifted to her by one of her ex-boyfriends.
That was he's a sweetheart. It was one of my exes that it was a lovely birthday gift from one of my exes. He's such a sweetheart.
Talk about a dig.
Oh, girl, the minute she said that, I was like,
oh, yeah, that killed me.
like a sucker punch.
Yeah, that was bad.
I felt gutted for Conrad.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, like I don't think that's a comment that you make to a man in general. Well, maybe I don't even think that's a comment you make to a man in general. I
know.
But especially having just started dating,
Yeah.
like what a red flag to wave.
Yeah.
Now
Huge red flag.
she said that she only wanted to say it was because she just wanted to piss him off. Mm-hmm. In their fight a little bit later, she kind of said, he said, why did you bring it up? And she basically owns, I just wanted to piss you off. And I guess we've all been there. I mean, we've all had those nights or those comments that we like to, that we make just to get a reaction out of somebody.
Right. But that is such a big topic for people. Like, people's money, that is extremely personal.
So personal.
And that was so inappropriate for her to just kind of dig at Conrad like that, as if he's, poor and she's used to dating rich guys. And that was so rude and so mean.
It was so incredibly rude. And the thing that broke my heart about it even more than just the comments about the money was the fact that Conrad is such a lovely person.
He really is.
We've seen it on the show time and time again. He's lovely. He goes to bat for people. He does his job. He's hardworking. But we also experienced it when he came in here, and we got to sit with him and meet him. I mean, he really is truly.
He's such a gentleman.
Salt of the earth kind of a guy. And
he's such a sweetheart. And actually, Casey tweeted tonight defending him.
Okay.
And she said, Conrad is the guy who will give you the world with happiness, constant laughter, and all his love. He will give you memories, and that's more important than stuff. That's the kind of guy I think most girls should look for.
It's true.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
I mean, for richer or poorer is in wedding vows kind of for a reason.
Exactly.
Because there's ideally in a marriage or in any relationship, they're meant to be long, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, otherwise, why would you get into a relationship? They're meant to be sort of a long-term experience, kind of going through life with somebody. That being the case, there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. And if you can't weather the downs, or if your expectations are only, girl, I'm going through it right now, like with all of the craziness we can talk. If y'all want to know more about that, you can follow me on Instagram. But there are seasons of life, you know what I mean? If your expectations are that there are only going to be good times, and when the bad times come,
she's out. Like, if the money's down, then she's just out.
Yeah.
And Conrad was trying to defend him and just like say that, like, if you don't like me for me, if all you care about is money, then I'm done. And it was interesting how Adam kind of told Conrad, like, I'm surprised that you don't realize that this was the tree you were barking up.
Right.
Because if you see throughout the season, Hannah mentions designer things a lot.
Yep.
A lot of her designer clothes,
which
purses.
I will say is brilliant editing on behalf of Bravo's part.
So
because
true. They've been gearing up for this.
I was kind of like all season long being like, when she says, put my Alexander McQueen handbag down, and, ooh, Casey, can I give you some of my Chanel exfoliant for you tonight?
Yeah.
And
or you got a cake on my YSL white shirt.
exactly. Like, they were kind of baiting. Well done, Bravo. Well done. That was actually, it's all coming full circle
Brilliant
now.
producing.
Like, I fell right into that, actually. But I think most of us did as viewers, because, yes. And here's the thing. I'm also saying that, I'm also not saying that it's not okay to have nice things. Like,
right.
I think we all can appreciate a nice item. I think, quality over quantity sometimes is a thing.
Yeah.
So
sure.
I'm not hating on people that like designer stuff. I'm not hating on people that want a little luxury in their life. But if that's the driving force in your relationship or in what you look for in a partner, I think ultimately you're going to be sorely disappointed.
Yeah, that cannot be the defining point of you loving someone, is their money.
But do we think, now this is me just playing devil's advocate and also trying to be on Team Hannah a little bit, do we think that a lot of the issues that we've learned about with her abandonment from the men in her life at a very young age, do we think that this is kind of a self-protecting thing?
Yeah.
That if she doesn't have to, that if she can relate or jump into a relationship for the experience of the stuff or the traveling because she's constantly traveling the world. She's got these beautiful things.
Yeah.
The kind of the superficial things. If it's easy to fall into the superficial things, is that because she does not let herself become vulnerable enough to really go for the love?
Yeah, maybe. But clearly she likes when men are able to take care of her, because the men in her life during her childhood abandoned her. So I think you're right. I think that is kind of
I just think it's a self-protection thing in a lot of ways. I think that if you can look at a relationship for what it can give you in terms of status or travel or luxury, then it's easy to kind of overlook the fact that there may not be a whole lot of depth or love there, which is the scariest part of the relationship. I mean, letting yourself be vulnerable, letting yourself be seen for the ickiest parts of yourself, and hopefully being accepted and loved for that is what I would imagine most people go for in a relationship. However, if you've been burned, I can imagine it'd be really hard to go back. It would be equally as scary, if not more, to try to go back to step back into those shoes. It's just like a cover. I think it's a coat that she puts on. It's a coat of armor that she puts on. And I really feel bad. I feel bad because I feel like she's sabotaging a really great relationship.
She is. And Conrad feels that way too. But honestly, Conrad hit the nail on the head with her.
Yeah.
He can see exactly what she's doing, because he also has a lot of, life experience and a lot of hard times from his childhood.
Yep.
So he knows her coping mechanisms and can pinpoint kind of why she's acting the way that she is. And he completely called her out for it tonight. Completely. So much so that she was 100% speechless. And I think he was completely in the right. And I do feel bad for Hannah, but I think this needs to be a really big wake-up call and learning lesson for her.
Yeah.
Because she can't treat people that way, especially someone who really cares about her.
Yep. It seems like it's a big mirror that he's holding up in front of her and kind of showing her who she is, which ultimately is a really good thing. You know, ultimately, if they don't end up working out, maybe this moment, this experience it's only gonna help Hannah if she allows it to.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it really, any of these troubling times that we go through in our lives, they always help you grow if you allow it to. So.
Yeah, of course.
I sound like an Instagram
Oh my gosh.
inspiration model,
This is like a therapy
page.
session. I'm exhausted.
I've got these crazy inspirational quotes
That was so
today.
inspirational.
No, anyway, I'm intrigued to see how this all pans out. But
Me too.
before we kind of get into some news and predictions and our way below deck moment, I want to give a couple of fan shout outs, or if we have anybody chatting at all tonight, we may.
It's a slow night tonight.
Well, that's okay. It's summer.
I know, it's summertime. People are out in the warm
summer.
weather.
Well, that's that's super understandable.
I know.
I mean, it's nice. It's nice out. So get out. So, all right, guys. Well, let's head into our news segment and talk about some news.
Do it.
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, Miss Kayley, what you got for us?
Let's do this. So, number one, Conrad posted a photo on his Instagram story of him. There it is, of him with Casey, Adam, and Jamie.
Yep.
They're all in New York City together right now.
Yeah. And and a couple of them are on Watch What Happens Live tonight.
Yes. Casey, Jamie, and Hannah will be on Watch What Happens Live tonight. I'm so excited.
They are. And so, okay, so then I just reached out to Mr. Colin
Yes.
to see if maybe this means that a reunion is in the works. And all he gave me was a little like side-eye emoji. And so I don't know. He's killing me.
Colin.
I thought for
Can't
sure
give
if I
us
could
anything.
Actually, do you know what I love too tonight? I think we got to see a little bit more about Colin.
I know. I love
You know?
I love the moments with Colin. He cracks me up.
He really does. He's definitely the comedic relief of the show. But then we got to see a little bit like of his homesickness, which kind of just made me want to like give him a hug.
I know because now that Brooke and Joao are a thing, like he had not only did he have a crush on Brooke, but his best friend was and bunkmate is Joao.
Yeah.
So now like they're both drifting from him, so he's getting homesick, understandably.
Well, you can come to LA anytime, Colin. We'll
I know,
always
come
have
back
you
and
here
visit
at
us,
AfterBuzz.
yeah.
We were huge fans. I'm
Yeah.
not a huge fan that you didn't give me any more than a side-eye emoji about
but
the
he
reunion.
did give you a happy birthday song.
He did
Rap.
give me a happy birthday
Rather.
song rap, and so you're forgiven. You're infinitely forgiven.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Any
do
other
have a
news?
third news topic just from when, speaking of Colin, when Colin and Joao were on Watch What Happens Live last week. It was a really good clip. A caller called in and asked Colin why he didn't pursue Brooke harder, and if he would have, does he think that Brooke would have chosen him over Joao? And Joao is sitting there when we're asking, so
awkward.
let's see his response.
Colin, if you had feelings for Brooke, why didn't you say anything to her? And do you think she would still be with Joao if you did?
Oh, good question.
Why didn't? What was the first part of the question?
Why didn't you say to Brooke that you had feelings for her?
I don't know. I think I was too, I can't even keep a relationship with the girl the next town over from me. So, like, she lives in England, so how is that going to work out, Just thinking long term.
Had you said something, do you think that you would have won out over Pretty Boy here?
I don't know, because I think a pencil could say something to her and she would date that pencil.
On next week's, I think that's a yes. On next week's Below.
Oh, Colin! How did I miss that? That was amazing. Oh my gosh.
I know, wasn't that so shocking?
Also,
Talk
are we
about a diss.
calling Joao Pretty Boy?
Andy is.
And I don't
Clearly
know.
Andy
I don't
might
know
have a
that I
little
agree with
crush.
that. I don't agree with that. I mean, I agree more with the Kenny and Amber Ice. Ice nickname that they gave him.
Iceman. But oh my gosh, can you believe Colin's such a sweetheart. I did not expect him to like come with that huge dig about for Brooke and for Joao when he's sitting right next to him.
Wow, that's funny though. That's like all in good fun for sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's but man, oh man. All right, I applaud your boldness, Colin, for sure.
Gosh, he's a funny one.
And then I know before, because I forgot to mention it when we were chatting about it, but I know Captain Sandy was tweeting tonight about her relationship with Hannah today. Do you mind reading her tweet for us?
Yes. So Captain Sandy tweeted tonight, watching the show back, I realize I'm really hard on Hannah. I do demand excellence in communication. Off camera, I've had conversations with her and apologized. We have moved past everything and we're in a better place now.
Well, that's good to know.
That's really good to know. So that answers your question.
Yeah.
Maybe we will be able to see Hannah and Captain Sandy on another season together.
Oh, good. So I can breathe. I can sleep well tonight knowing that Captain Sandy and Hannah could habitate the boat one more time again.
I know. And in the live chat, Heather is saying hi.
Hi, Heather. We miss you, love.
Miss you.
See you next week.
Yes.
All right, guys, I totally forgot our way below deck moment. So we're gonna jump back and do our way below deck moment really fast, and then we're gonna do predictions. Hey. That'll wake you up. Oh, man. Okay, did you have a way below deck moment for tonight?
Yes. It was when Joao became Jezebel and confronted Casey in the club out of nowhere. First of all, he could barely verbalize.
Okay.
And he could barely keep his eyes open.
Right.
So clearly, he's full Jezebel. And he approaches Casey and starts cussing at her and saying that she's being rude or mean to him, when honestly, we haven't seen any of that. Like, there's a little bit of awkwardness, but that's about it. Like, Casey's nothing but sweet to him every time they chat. And Casey even said she and Brooke became way closer when Hannah was down. And she said that Joao, there's no wedge, put no wedge between them at all.
That came out of nowhere. Casey might be the MVP of this episode.
Yes.
I will say.
Go Casey.
She pulled through in a big way.
Yeah, she did.
And if she did say a warning to Brooke about Joao, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Right.
I think that's a girlfriend looking out for a girlfriend. I mean, clearly there was a love triangle that everybody knew about happening at there. So I don't think it came from a place of being like, I want him, I don't want you to have him. I think it was just kind of like, all right, girl. So if he's picked and you picked,
and honestly,
live your life. Just be
Casey
careful.
handled it so incredibly well. Can you imagine? Like, with the whole love triangle, Casey could have completely done a 180 and been nothing but rude to Joao after what he did to her.
Totally. She could have gone off like crazy.
She's going above and beyond, treating him extremely well. So the fact that he has the audacity to come up to her drunk in the club, it's like she treats him way too well for what he did to her.
That's right. I agree. Way below deck.
Way below deck.
Oh, get down there. My way below deck had to do with Miss Jamie.
Yeah.
And her, her little X-ray, and just showing up her, her goods for everybody to see. I thought that was hilarious. I mean, it's not really funny. Like a bad way below deck. It just kind of made me giggle.
I know. Casey retweeted a GIF of that, and she said, Jamie's nudes, and it's like her X-ray,
her nude photos, for everybody to see. I don't know. It's not a bad way below deck. It just kind of like caught me off guard, and I was like, oh, that's funny.
That was cute.
Yeah, she's really cute. I'm a big Jamie fan as well.
I know.
Okay, before we wrap up, let's do some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Ooh, spooky. All right, start us off.
Oh my God, there's so many
I don't mean to put so much pressure on you.
So much pressure.
Let's talk about one. Let's start one.
I think that Hannah's gonna try to get Conrad back. And he's not going to have it.
Okay.
And he's going to completely excel in the eyes of Captain Sandy and do an incredible job and turn this whole charter season around for his career and keep his distance with Hannah. And Hannah's going to kind of fall maybe into a dark place again. I don't want her to, but
I hope this is the darkest that we've seen.
I know.
I hope we start moving back towards the light. Come to the light.
I know. Come to the light, Hannah. Yeah. That's my prediction.
And then consequently, I predict that the line in the sand has been definitively drawn. I don't think, because I don't see Hannah making herself vulnerable enough to say she was wrong to come back to Conrad. Mm-hmm. And I think Conrad strikes me as the person as like, once you're out, you're out. You know what I mean? Like once he's kind of like, once he's made that decision, you're done. So I'm gonna say this is the end. I'm gonna say we've come to the end of the road for Hannah and Conrad. Sadly, I know that's how I feel. I really do. I'm really sad about it, but yeah, I think, but it could be the best for I think everybody on board, and also I think ultimately for Conrad, who is so young in his career and still building a lot of that rapport and that respect in the yachting industry.
Oh yeah, and back to the money thing. Can we just talk about the fact Conrad had brought this up before, how he wants to save up to buy a house. When he came here a couple months ago at this point, he told me that he did buy that house.
Yeah.
So he knows what he's doing with his money.
He does.
And he's such a hard worker. And just go, Conrad.
I know. Just keep your head down, keep working hard. And Hannah as well. I mean, Hannah seems like she needs to she's going to kind of use this opportunity to to kind of reassess, I think. And like she said, she was like, I can either go home and get healthy and get my mind clear and kind of or I can stay here, do my job, make my money, and deal with this later. And I hope that once she's done with dealing with the issues on the boat, then she's going to go and deal with her issues in her heart.
Yes. And she is an independent woman, and I know she doesn't need to depend on a rich man. She works her booty off, and like we've talked about before, she just started this new workout line. So clearly she has her hand in a bunch of different things. She's a successful independent woman.
Yes.
So,
and that's great. I mean, that's the thing. She needs, I think ultimately as a woman, you want to be able to take care of yourself should something happen, and and it also gives you such a great sense of accomplishment. And there's so many reasons why I think it's a good thing. I just don't think it should be the 1A thing on your list for things I look for in a partner.
Right. But since we've seen recently, she is dating. Is he an NBA player?
Yeah, I think he is a basketball player.
Yeah. So
our prediction is that
it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of the rich guy, and then of course she's working very hard as well.
So our prediction is perhaps that a leopard doesn't change its spots. Perhaps. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens next week, you guys. We got a couple more episodes to the end of this season, so make sure you join us. Before we wrap up, Miss Kayley, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yes, at Kayley Stumpe on Instagram and Twitter, and check out my podcast called Sex and Studio City.
Yeah, it's so good, guys. And my name's Laura L. Thomas. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Laura Thomas Son. I think I just changed it. Hope to see you guys then. We'll see you here next week where we wrap up this season in a couple weeks. So stay tuned. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.